Hey guys, and welcome to Just Have the Conversation. We are super excited to be talking about what we're going to be talking about today. Actually, Wendy was the one that wanted to have this discussion, and I was just telling her before we got on here that it's crazy to me how I am such a women empowerment and I really didn't know about this and I should have studied it, but just what I have learned in such little time to get ready for this, I've learned so much and definitely will go into more detail because now I have so many other questions when it comes to this movement. And what we're going to be talking about today is what became the 19th Amendment. And it was passed August 26, 1920, which it wasn't the 1920?
It was not August 26th.
Oh, I read, see.
There's two different dates floating around.
Okay, so the one that I found was 1926, 1920, but the year was 1920, right?
Yeah, so 100 years ago.
Yes, where women actually were given the right to vote.
Yes.
So, yeah, it's going to be a lot of information, a lot of back and forth. If you guys definitely have other information that you guys want to put down in the comments, please do so. Like I said, I actually learned so much from the little studying that I did, and I definitely want to learn a lot more. So, Miss Wendy, it looks like you got it. Give us the information. What date do you have?
Okay, so this is what I found. And this is the interesting part because I found August 26th as well. So then I thought, well, let me look onto the government site so that, I can get the date, right? And the date that I got, which is crazy, because I just thought about this morning, okay? And the date that I have is that it was what they call ratified, which means that it passed earlier on June 4th, I believe, and then they had to make some changes, and then they accepted the changes, and so it was put into effect on August 18, 1920, and today is August 17, 2020.
It was meant to be.
Is that crazy or what? I was like, what?
That is pretty crazy. And we're actually recording a day late just because life happened. But you know what? Maybe it was meant to be because we were
right, because I didn't think about this yesterday.
And we're going to put it today. So then tomorrow you can listen to it and be proud to be a voting woman in America.
That's right. Yeah, and hopefully there will be some women in America that will have a new appreciation for the ability to vote.
Yes, because let me tell you, I was, looking through all information. I am like a fanatic when it comes to YouTube because I love watching videos. To me, I'm like a visual learner. I like to read, but I rather me put on a video and watch it. Mm-hmm. So I was actually listening to the whole history that happened and how before this happened, this amendment was passed, women were actually looked at like a object. Like you didn't own who you were. Either your dad did, because he was the person that was taking care of you. And then once you got passed down to your husband, then your husband owned anything that you did. So even if you worked, your husband would be the person that was handling all your money, everything that was basically you didn't have you just were there to see whatever you could do in order for your husband or your father to be proud of who you were.
Yeah, we were property.
Which is so crazy. So you couldn't vote, you couldn't own property, most women couldn't work, and then there were some badass women that decided that this is not the way that it was supposed to be. And they were like, wait a minute, hold on. This is not right.
Right.
And you know, it's crazy to even think, because as, you know, women in the 20th century, we have so many different rights that we take for granted. Because if you really think about it, 100 years ago, when my grandma is 92, so, you know, she didn't have any rights when, and she was born in El Salvador, which is, you know, completely different story. But and I know there's grandmas out there that are like 102, they lived through this.
Right.
This,
yeah.
Like this,
or great grandmas.
Great grandmas that dealt with it, and
yeah,
maybe some of them were in the marches, and you know, like that's crazy to me that you can see it, you know, because a lot of things happen, and they happen a long time, so it's kind of hard to make that connection. But with this, I was like, this is pretty crazy. This is like fairly new, and it makes me proud to be able to vote. Which is funny, because I actually was not able to vote for a different reason, because I didn't become a citizen till like maybe less than 10 years ago. So I wasn't able to vote. So once I was able to vote, of course I was like, yeah, you know, but it was, now that it's like women empowerment, you know, like it has like a different feel to it.
It does, because when you think about like not even having the option.
Right.
Like if tomorrow they said, okay, women cannot vote from this day forward. And you're like, wait a minute, why not? You know? So like actually reading up on this made me appreciate it even more. I mean, I've always felt like it's important to vote, because my mom was very patriotic. Like she had the socks and the t-shirts and, you know, the flag, and I mean, she worked for the U.S. government. You know, she was very patriotic, and my family on her side, they were in the military, and so she used to tell me, if you don't vote, you can't complain about what's going on. You have to at least put the effort out there and vote, and then you can complain.
I agree 100%. And I think I would take that into everything in life. You really can't complain of something that you're not doing anything to change. You know what I mean? But I mean, you know, just thinking back to these women, and being content with just being the cute little wife, you know, that just is there, and you cook and you clean and you take care of the kids and all that. And then what strength it took for them to stand up against their husbands, first of all, and then stand up to the whole United States, to be able to sit here and say, hey, we're not just cattle. You can't just tell us, you know, to just do this or whatever. Like, we deserve more.
Right.
We want more. And that takes a lot of courage.
I agree, because a lot of them were put in jail several times.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, they were pushed, you know, they were beaten, which is funny, because it's like, well, you're women, you're not supposed to do these
you're
manly
fragile. Yeah.
Right. But then, you know,
But then you beat me up.
Attack them because they just want to cast a vote, so they could say, look, you know, I don't want to be traded like property.
Yeah, that's crazy. I know I was reading up that there was, I think, 30 women in the state's capital, and they were beaten, they were taken to jail. One of them was put in solitary confinement to break her, which didn't work.
Right, because she's a woman.
You can't break no one, actually.
We're strong. We're very strong human beings. We really are. And
But,
they underestimated her.
Yes. And then, it's so funny to me when you expect to do something to break somebody or a group or, your spirit, whatever. And because people saw the injustice of it, they started getting more support, because then they were like, you know what? They don't deserve this. They deserve so much more, and you guys are trying to sit here and oppress them. You can't do that. So because of their suffering, because of their pain, they were actually able to gain more strength through doing what they did, which is crazy. And I actually have their names. Not their names, just one.
Okay.
Because I'm telling you, I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. And I don't know where it's at.
So while you're looking for that, I just want to speak a little bit on Wonder Woman.
On what?
On Wonder Woman.
Oh! Go ahead, girl.
You're like, okay, well, what does Wonder Woman have to do? Okay, so Wonder Woman was actually, like, the character was created around the time that all this started.
Yes, I saw the movie. Oh, yes, I saw the movie.
Well, yeah, I mean, but like the character was like created based on these women that were fighting to say, look, I'm an individual. I should have the same rights as a male, And so that's how she became like a popular character, because she was like a symbol of women fighting for justice and fairness and equality, all of that.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, so that's why I have my background today, my Wonder Woman background. And I'm wearing white in honor of the suffragettes.
And for people that don't know us, we love Wonder Woman. Like, that was one of the connections we made with each other when we first met each other, because we would buy each other little Wonder Woman things. I know.
But now we know why,
Right. That's crazy. I didn't know that. I've seen the movies, but I actually did not know. And I think last time you were telling me that she was created, of course, by a man that actually believed that women needed to have the same rights and be treated respectfully. And that is amazing. I feel like when you see men that are able to stand by women, strong women, it not be scared of them or feel like they're belittling his manlyhood. I feel like that's something to respect a lot in a man.
I agree. I think that when a man is not intimidated, when he sees a woman as his equal, and when I say that, I mean should be treated with the same respect that he wants to be treated, that, is talked to in a way that they're equals, not talking down to her, believes that women should get paid exactly the same for the exact same job, would be, if you have the same experience, the same education, and all of that, why not get paid the same? That doesn't make any sense to me. No sense at all. So to me, like, that's very attractive in a man when he's like, hey, I'm not, I don't feel like less of a man just because you're treated the same as I am. No one has to be higher than the other one.
Right. You're meant to walk next to each other,
Yeah.
front, and and vice versa. Like, a couple women that they get in their heads and they try to be like, no, like walk together. Everybody's supposed to be equal. Everybody's supposed to be loving and supporting. Clap for the next person. I don't care if it's a man or a woman. You know what I mean? Like, that's crazy.
Exactly.
So actually, the person that we were talking about that was put in solitary consignment, her name was Alice Paul, and she was actually the founder of the National Women's Party. So, girl, we appreciate you and we love you.
Yeah.
And then the two women that actually started the whole movement, was Elizabeth Stanton and Lucretia Mott. And they organized the Women's Convention in New York, actually. So they were the first women to actually stand up for the women's rights. And I was also reading that, not everything's pretty. Of course, they were fighting for women's rights, but there were some women that didn't believe that other ethnicities should have the same right as white women. So I think there were two different parties that had, different views, that were still fighting for women's rights, but they had different views when it came to voting and all that. And then even when the Black men were able to vote, after they came back from war, Black women were still not allowed to vote, only Black men, which that to me is also crazy.
Why? They were men.
Like, we're talking about oppression, ending oppression, and it's like, you can do it, but you can't.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, well, why? Give me a real reason,
Right.
Let's discuss it, and if you can give me an actual, like, strong reason why, then maybe I can see it, But yeah, so there were some women that formed the National Association of Colored Women's Clubs. Mm-hmm. And so guess who was involved in that? Harriet Tubman.
Of course.
Frances E.W. Harper. I need to read up on her. I'm not familiar with her. Ida B. Wells. Mm-hmm. Ida B. Wells has her own story. Like,
yes.
Right? She was a journalist, and she owned a publishing company, and she was Black, and she was a woman.
Mm-hmm. And then it was so powerful, they actually ended up burning news. But maybe we need to talk about her next time, because she's pretty
okay.
I was reading up on her too, and I was like, wow, like, talk about strength and courage, and not sitting down. I believe they told her in one of the march, they told her that they could march, like Black women could march, but it had to be in the back.
Yeah, and they were like, no.
And actually, she was the one that ran to the front, and she was the front liner. Yeah, she was pretty powerful. I was reading up on her too. That's why I was like, when we came on, I was like, okay, there's so much more, so many other questions that are coming up while, doing this type of research. It was crazy.
Yeah. So, but I don't want to, since we're talking about women and the right to vote, I don't want it to be a black-white thing. Mm-hmm. I know that back then in 1920, that was pretty much the predominant races at that time. Mm-hmm. But now, 100 years later, we're very diverse.
Right.
We have women from El Salvador.
Yes, ma'am.
We have women from Jamaica, from Korea, from India, like from all over, right?
All over the place, yeah.
Yeah, so the women of the United States are extremely diverse now. Mm-hmm. But back then, and that's why we're not talking about the other ethnicities, because back then, that was pretty much it.
Right,
you
right.
know, was black and white.
Yeah, there was definitely no
I just,
back in the day.
yeah, I just want to make sure people understand why we're, you know.
Just talking about, yeah. So,
Yeah.
but I mean, to get to where we want to go, we need to talk about what happened in the past. And these
Right.
women, and that's why, like you said, we're not trying to take away or make it a black and white thing or who did it right, who did it wrong. The simple fact that these women started this in order for us to be able to sit and have a voice now is what we're trying to empower. And
Yeah.
we're trying to show that you can be one woman. I mean, there were two that started it. Two women, just like me and you right here, Wendy.
That's
Two women
right.
that started it. They started the conversation and they said, this is not something that we want to deal with anymore and we want to change it. What can we do to change it? What are the steps that we need to change it? And what other women can we come together with to change it? Which is basically what I think any woman, not just being you, but just any woman that we talk to, you have friends, I have friends, and they feel the same way when it comes to women's rights and being able to empower other women. That's what we want. We want to be able to connect with other powerful women that have this crazy idea in their head that they want to change, not just about women's rights, but about everybody's rights.
Right.
And, you know, for us to come together and be able to have the conversation and talk about what is important to us. And we just thought, I mean, you brought it up and I was just like, wow, this is pretty crazy. First of all, that I did not learn about this when I was in high school and that it wasn't important enough to talk about. But this is something that for sure, most definitely, I want to learn a lot more and pass down to my younger generations. You know, like I have nieces, I have, you know, I have friends that have little girls. Like I want to be able to have this type of conversation with them while they're coming up and be able to tell them, because I feel like sometimes we forget that having the freedom and the rights to do the things that we want to do came at a price, not to us, but to somebody else.
Right.
I feel like it's something that you have to do when you go vote. Like I'm not just gonna be like, oh, I'm just gonna go vote because I don't want this person. No, like I feel like now I'm gonna be going in there like I'm going in there to show these women that everything that they did and everything that they went through means something now in the future. You know what I mean?
I do. That's how I feel. You know, I get it. Yes. Because it wasn't for nothing.
Right. Everything that they had to go through. And I'm pretty sure, you know, like I read little things here and there, like getting beat, getting put in jail. You know, a lot of people were looking at them wrong, talking about them, trying to break them. I'm pretty sure they went through a lot more stuff that they didn't want to talk about and write, you know, but just to be able to sit here and give that back, even though they're not here, but to be able to like acknowledge the fact that, you know, somebody's suffering made your life a lot better. Like that is a big thing. And I feel like that's what, you know, I would like for anybody that's listening to this is just the right to vote is not just for you to change the future. It's also for you to be able to look back at the rights that women didn't have before and be proud and be grateful that somebody had the spirit to be able to continue even though they were going through a lot of stuff.
Yeah, and the strength.
So believe me, voting completely changed. Now when I vote, oh, it's gonna be so empowering. It's gonna be crazy. Cause yeah, you know, you're going to vote because you want to stand for something for the future. You want to be able to see the future change. But also to sit now and look back at the past and see how it actually has been changing for 100 years now. That's pretty powerful as well. And to see like the changes and the just everything that other women have gone through, like, sheesh, to be able to sit down with this woman and have a conversation with them, you know, like that would be so crazy.
Wouldn't it? That would be just like, it would take me a while because I would be in awe. I would just probably sit there for the first 5 minutes like, how? You know, how did you keep going?
Right. You know, I was actually listening to one of the pastors yesterday, and they were talking about how there's times in your life that happen to you that are meant to change you, but you have to be able to look forward to the end game instead of like sitting down and dwelling on what's happening now, because, you know, like these women went through a lot. So in order for them to be able to live in the future and know that what they were going through right now was going to be worth it.
Yeah.
You know, because, you know, I mean, humans are humans. Sometimes you go through something and you feel like you're never going to get out of it, or you feel like your life is never going to be the same. And to be able to have that strength in you to say, no, 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 this is going to change. Something that's going to come, especially when it's like that much like hate. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
It's crazy.
Because, you know, when you just want to be treated like a human, and so you're saying, hey, I want to have a say, because voting meant having a say in everything that affected their life. Everything, you know. And so, you know, to say, you know, look, I just want to be able to say what happens to me, and to be met with such anger and hatred.
No.
Like, why?
And then it also gives me hope to know that everything that people are going through right now with this whole situation, you know, Black Lives Matter, everything. It gives me hope to see that things will change, because we're so diverse, because it's not just black and white anymore. There's so many different cultures that come into play. And I'm pretty sure, you know, like we're seeing a lot more women in Congress. We're hearing their voices. We talked about AOC like a couple of weeks ago and how powerful she is. And there's so many more women that are coming out to speak about, you know, like the Me Too movement, and these women that went through these crazy, crazy situations that, you know, a lot of people, they would be broken by them, and they were able to share their story, and they were able to say, hey, no more, like we're putting a stop to this. And it's helped out so many women and men. It's not, you know, like I feel like the Me Too movement, it's not just about women. It started with women, but things like this also happen to men.
Yeah.
Heard men speak out about it. So I feel like the Me Too movement has given so much energy, positive energy, and a voice to people that weren't able to speak out, you know? So it empowers me, and empowers me to see all these powerful women come together. You know, this is not something, you know, like now people are saying, because I have friends who are like, oh, empowerment, women empowerment, Emily, ew, you know, like they make hella fun of me, I swear to you. And of course they're guys, they're playing around, but you know, they're like making fun of me. But at the same time, it's like people think that this is something that started now. Like there's a women empowerment movement and there's women's strength. No, this is something that has been happening for years now. Years, more than 100 years. And it's just coming out because more women, you know, started with 2, and then thousands and thousands of million of women came together, and they are standing next to them saying, hey, we deserve better. We deserve not better than men, but just equality.
Right.
And it's beautiful to also see, you know, the transition from only being a housewife, being a wife, or being a daughter, because that's what you were before, to, you know, you were a mom, and then you had the decision whether you wanted to work or if you wanted to just stay at home, and now you have the decision where you can work and be at home. And, you know, women are so resilient, and we can change to whatever situation you put us in. And we don't even have to think about it. Like, you know, I can tell you, with me having a baby, Like, I remember, like, I almost died when I was giving birth to Z.
Yeah.
And it was that switch where I knew that I was dying, and I was telling Gabe, like, oh my God, I'm gonna die, to like listening my baby cry, and like my whole perspective. It was just like life came back to me, and it wasn't about me anymore. It was about the baby, and do this and do that. And, you know, came out, all the doctors were in awe because they were like, you were just dying. Like, what happened? And I was like, I'm fine. Like, it's cool. Where's my baby? Can I hold her? Women are
Hard for me to hear.
Dude, it was crazy. That's a whole different story that we're going to go through. But just like that, I think becoming a mom made me realize that women, I knew I was powerful before, but now I know I'm like the shit. Nobody can tell me different. You know, and it's so seriously, like, women are we're just so unique. Phenomenal. We can't be broken. We cannot. I don't think I've ever met any woman, and all of my friends have gone through so many things. You've gone through so many things. And to be able to see, I know that a really, really hard time for you was when your mom passed away.
Mm-hmm.
And to be able to see you pull yourself together in such a beautiful way, where I knew that you were still hurting, but I also knew that you were going to be okay. Like, that's also beautiful to see. And that is powerful in itself. And there's so many women out there right now that are going through so many different things.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's just, you have to dig deep. Like, we are warriors. We are, you know, we are Wonder Woman. Like, we are able to do anything and everything. Seriously.
I agree. I mean, I agree 100%. You know, and I'm excited because I think this is the most excited I've been during one of our talks. I'm excited because I love, like, I love the fact that you're excited about it. And what you're saying, you know, I mean, I know you've always, you know, felt this way, but just hearing it, it gets me more excited. because there's so many women that don't realize how strong they are, you know, and they get beaten down either physically or mentally, you know, or verbally. And, you know, there's so many bad situations that they're in, that if they just knew how strong they were and how much, you know, other women could help them, then it would just change their life, you know? So I just get excited because, you know, women are awesome.
You're so right.
Awesome.
Also, like,
men are awesome too.
Huh?
Men are awesome too, but we're talking about women right now.
Yes, they are. You guys are strong and awesome too. Don't get me wrong. Everybody has their own unique strength. We love men. We are not bashing men in any type of way.
Not at all.
Keep it out there. We are not bashing men. We love men. We respect men. And we know that you guys are strong. Believe me, I wouldn't be married to one if I didn't love them. But me and you have always had this connection.
Yeah.
Always, day one, we've always had a dream to be able to, like, use our voices and our stories to uplift women. Not because we hate men, not because we think we're better than men, just because we know that we are two strong individuals and we're women. And we have gone through a lot of different things in our lives, and we just want to be able to help out. And we also have the strength of our friends. Like, I cannot even begin to thank the circle of friends that I have, you know, when it comes to you, when it comes to my other friends.
Right.
You guys know who you guys are. I would not be who I am if I didn't have you guys backing me up, because whatever I lack, you guys feed into my world so I can be able to keep going. And believe me, there's been some dark times where I thought I was not going to be okay, where I thought I was not going to be able to get over a certain situation that I was in or be able to surpass things that happened to me in the past. And my friends reminded me of how strong I was and showed me, not just by speaking, but showed me that they had gone through things. They had gone out of that and became stronger and smarter. So then they didn't fall into that again. So that helped me. Like I still look up to my friends and I'm like, dude, you guys are so bad. Like I freaking love you guys. You guys make me stronger. You guys make me smarter. I love it. And I feel like having a circle of friends that are, you know, I think that or at least to me, the way that I see it, I have a friend for each part of my life. Like, you know, I have a friend, I had friends that I used to go out and I used to party and we partied and we had the best times. And then there were friends that I can call and I could, if I wanted to have like a serious conversation, like me and you can sit down and talk about our future and our dreams. And I don't have to worry about you telling me like, I don't know, I don't think that's going to work. You know what I mean? Like there's some friends that you can have a conversation about your dreams and there's some friends that you don't. But then whenever you go through a different situation, they're the ones that come running and they're the ones that are there for you. And they're the ones that are, so each phase of my life and each part of my life and each situation that I'm going through, I have these badass women that are literally behind me. Like, what do you need? What can I do? You're going to be fine. Shut up and keep going. And I appreciate that. And I love it. I love it. I love it.
Well, can I tell you, this is my theory, is that you have that because you also give that to them.
Wow.
I'm serious. I didn't know how to have friendships with women until I met you. I really didn't. I didn't. Yeah. So you taught me how to be a friend.
No, you knew how to be a friend. I did not teach you how to be a friend.
No, you did.
You were a friend. No, you were a friend to me. Like, but you know, this is I think this is a conversation I was just having too with my friends. Like, they're friends. There are people in your life that are your friends.
Yeah.
That are going to be there in the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Mm-hmm.
And then there are people that are your friends and they're there, but they're there just because whenever you want to go somewhere or wherever you want to go, you know, watch a movie, go on a date, whatever. Mm-hmm. But you know who your friends are when shit hits the fan. Yeah. And it's the ones that are sitting there with no umbrella taking it all with you. You know what I mean?
Oh, I love that.
Seriously. So finding those type of friends, like if you weren't a friend to me, I wouldn't have been a friend to you, Wen. So I did not teach you how to be a friend. You already had so much to give. But, you know, just to be able to use your friends as crutches sometimes. Yeah. And to be able to find that beauty in their strength. Mm-hmm. Because not everybody's your fit, you know? Like, there's some friends that, you know, kind of get under your skin sometimes and you're just like, look, dude, no, you can't do that. You can't say, you know what I mean? But you're not going to like cut them off for it, you know? Right. So it's to be able to see somebody by who they truly are. Mm-hmm. And then understand that they can't be you. And if they were you, you probably wouldn't like them because you guys would be too much alike. But to be able to bring out the strength of somebody else and use it for yourself. And then also be able to give your strength to them when they need it, because it's a two-way street. You know, friendship is not you take, or I give. It goes both ways. Yeah. So just finding women that are just empowering, loving, caring, understanding, badass, don't take no, you know, ish from nobody. That's amazing. I love it. I'm telling you, my girls, I love you guys. My girls are I love them. Till the wheels fall off is what we say, because we're in it for the long run.
Well, I'm pretty fortunate as well that I have a circle of friends and family, actually.
Yes.
You know, because I have a lot of cousins. A lot. I'm so thankful for, but it's a lot. And it's funny because the female cousins were also very similar.
Mm-hmm.
We're so similar, you know, when it comes to like certain things and how we feel about things and how we approach things and how we, you know, handle certain things when it comes to like problems and issues, you know. Mm-hmm. And so I feel really fortunate that I've got my circle of friends that includes my family.
Right.
You know, so the women in my family and the female friends that I have that I'm not, you know, blood relatives of. Mm-hmm. That, you know, like you said, that, you know, there's certain things that I can go to them for, and I can go to this other one for that, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Mm-hmm. So, I also think it has a lot to do with how our mothers were. You know, our moms are badass. I tell my mom, dude, you're Superwoman. Nothing can break you. The things that, I mean, I can't even begin to tell you how much I love her. My grandma was the same way. Both my grandmas, you know, my dad's mom actually came to the United States by herself at the age of 18, slept in parks, and because of her, my dad was able to come, and then we were able to come.
Wow.
You know, my grandma was just, my mom's mom was just the lioness. She's just, oh my God, I love that woman. But to be able to have, you know, and I think this is what we tapped in last time that we talked about our groups and all that, to be able to tap into the power of other women and see the beauty in it and the growth that you can have, not just your mom, your grandma, your aunts, but to, you know, like I get some from you, get some from me, and we have friends that, you know, when we used to have the Wild Women Tribe meets, to be able to hear these women talk about how they want to change their families, their future. It's just so empowering and so beautiful to dwell in that energy.
Yes.
We need to have another, I don't care if it's virtual, we're going to do it. And we're actually going to be doing something else that's going to be coming up. Hopefully we can start it next week. This is something that Wendy also wanted to do. We wanted to do live, I don't even call it live chats, where we can, you know, have a conversation about certain topics and just help each other out. So more to come on that. We're working on it. And just remember, it's not just about you. You are powerful, you are strong, you are beautiful. But to be able to look back at the women that pushed us forward, it's something so beautiful. Like I'm telling you, this right here changed my life, because you forget that it's not just about you. And that other women have suffered for what you have now and what you are able to do. So we definitely encourage you guys to look more into this and see how our voting rights came to be. And then also look into other things too. Just look up badass women of the world, and I'm pretty sure a lot of things would come up. So that's definitely something that I am going to do. Thanks to you, Miss Wendy, because this was pretty. So till next time, we'll see you guys later and just have the conversation. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure that you like, that you repost, and that you subscribe to our channel. And also let us know what you guys want to hear about. I have actually a couple of people that send us some messages, so we'll be talking about those stuff too. But love you guys. Have an amazing day.